Hello, Southern New Hampshire University students. This is Suzanne Dunleavy, and I will be your instructor for English 122. And you probably are a brand new student or relatively close to being a brand new student. So that's kind of cool because I am relatively a new teacher at Southern New Hampshire University, but I have been doing this for a while. So I just wanted to touch base with you and do my Module 1 announcement as a video. I think that you guys are going to have a fair amount of reading to do. So I'm going to attempt to do my announcements um, as video so that you hear and see some things, and maybe we can go through things a little bit faster. As an English teacher, I do tend to have a lot of words, so I try to do things really quickly, but they tend to be long. So I'm going to try not to do that for you. So I am a relatively new teacher here at um, Southern New Hampshire, but you and I will both figure out the technology together. Definitely are several layers of technology. I'm pretty used to that kind of thing in this environment. I know it might be new to some of you, and I just want to encourage you that you got this. We're gonna get through this together. 8 weeks. We can do anything for 8 weeks. I know you are probably all pretty busy with other parts of your lives. So I appreciate the time that you're taking to further your education. And I hope that you have a great time with me as your teacher. So, a couple of things I want to mention for Module 1 and kind of a general overview for the course. Number one, we will have something called a discussion board, and there is a discussion board for general questions. So, if you have a general question, then it would be great to see that in that discussion board, because if you have that question, so do probably other students in the course. So keep the idea of, if anybody else could possibly have this question, put that into the general discussion board area. If it's something that's personal, I had a death in the family, I have this going on, I have that going on, I get some help with it, that would be something that I would want you to email me privately on. So that just kind of helps, things that nobody else really needs to know. That would be something that you could privately email me on. All right. um so just make sure as you start this, you probably have already done this, but make sure that you have access to Mind's Edge. It's something that you have to log into, and all of that kind of thing. So if you are having an issue, if you're having any kind of technical issues, I can help you some. But the IT department at SNHU is really good, really on the nose as far as getting help to you. So in this module, and we're just going to take this degree process that you are in. We're going to eat the elephant. And how best do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. All right. So don't get overwhelmed with the big picture. One bite at a time, one module at a time. You might even be taking multiple courses at the same time. That's fine. We're just going to focus on one thing at a time as we build our writing skills. So in this module, and I don't know that I'm going to have the same problem that I have with some of my face-to-face students. I have a lot of students that have a hard time reading their work. Well, the way that SNHU has things set up, there's no way possible for you to not read your work or not read these modules, not do the assignments. So, again, one bite at a time. Everything is laid out for you. Just do the next thing. If you feel yourself starting to get overwhelmed, you certainly can reach out to me, but just do one thing to get to the next step, and don't you we're going to have a big picture at some point, but as you're getting started, just take one step at a time. All right, baby steps. So in this module, we're going to have two assignments that I want to talk to you about today. Number one is a discussion board. And so that is going to be a very easy thing. And let's just take a look. Um, the discussion board is in the module. I could find it, the prompt that you're going to be writing about. But this is the overall rubric or the grading sheet for all of the discussion boards that I'm going to be grading you on. And the big picture is you want your first post, your 1 to 2 paragraphs to come in by Thursday at midnight Eastern time. And then by Sunday Eastern time, midnight or 11:59, just before the next day, you will respond to two people and their posts. So the way that you get graded for the week on the discussion boards is you will write your 1 to 2 paragraphs, and then you will respond to two of your classmates' posts. Okay, so the things that we're looking for is that you have a clear point. You have a clear idea that is very understandable to us. So, a statement, in my life, I learned critical reading at an early age, period. And then you write the 1 or 2 paragraphs on that story that helped you understand how to think critically. That's module one, is critical reading and critical thinking. So a good solid sentence. It doesn't have to be the first sentence of what you're writing, but it's kind of helpful, can be helpful at this stage. And as writers, we call this a topic sentence, so that you might be recognizing things or remembering things from past English courses that you've taken. Timeliness, we are just going to assume that you are going to be on time. If you are late, then that's where points start getting deducted. Are you engaged? So, are you giving us relevant and meaningful response posts? So, you are reading your classmates' materials and you are specifically engaging in a sentence that they've said, something that has really struck you. And one of the things in my own training, and I will tell you that I just went through training a couple of months ago with SNHU, and it was rigorous. It was some of the most rigorous training I've had for all of the various different universities and colleges I've taught for. I think that SNHU is really on the ball as far as training. So it's asking you to do the very same thing that it's asking me to do as your instructor, to use a sentence from the writer that you are responding to, and you can say, I like how you said blah 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 blah. Have you thought about this? So that is a way of drawing attention to a specific part of their writing and then taking it a step further. And that's what we consider engagement, as opposed to, hey, I liked your post, right? And then the writing mechanics. Now, you're not going to be a perfect writer. It is okay that you are not a perfect writer. If you were a perfect writer, you would not need me. So it's okay that you need to be in this class. Welcome to reality, and it's okay. We're going to learn the things. You might get some points taken off at the very beginning of the semester, at the very beginning of the term, sorry. But as you move along, you probably are going to get better and better. It's kind of how things work. So that's any discussion board prompt. That's how I grade that. And then here's the actual discussion board prompt for this week. Um, and that is 1 to 2 paragraph. You know what? Um, I copied something twice. So here we go with what the actual discussion board is going to be for this week, along with any other general questions you have, right? So first, introduce yourself to the class. What's your major? Is there anything you'd like to share about yourself? And then in a few paragraphs, and then you would answer these questions. So consider a time in your life when you had to look at something a little closer to make sense of it. It might be a document, it might be a grocery list, all of these. So you can read through that. This is the discussion board prompt for you for this week, and it is module 1-2. Now, the other thing that I want to show you, um, before you do assignment 1-6 this week, you'll need to do this work with the integrity statement. So you can't even you cannot submit this without doing the assignment first. Now, let's see if this is going to let me write this. Yes, I'm in a different browser because my video capabilities only allow me to work in Google. So what you are going to do in this module, you are going to be given a chance to choose one of 3 articles. And you're going to use this article, you're going to choose one of the 3. You're going to use that article over the course of the 8 weeks. And so the writing assignment um, uh, for 1-6 is, which article did you select? List the title and the author. You're going to look at the author's purpose. So you're going to look for, you ask yourself the question, why is this author writing this? What is the message that the author wants to give me? And then how does the author prove the point? Writing is make a point and prove it. That's it. Figure out what you want to say and then prove what you're saying. That's what writing is all about. And that's what you're going to do starting from module 1. So you're going to tell me what kind of evidence you're seeing and from the text, and then who do you think the author is writing to? Is the author writing to students? Is the author writing to a different group of people? Because the audience plays into how the author writes. And sometimes we can be reading things and we're not the audience. So we have to keep that in mind as we are critically thinking about, and critically can be a good thing, isn't a negative thing. As we are thinking critically about an author's message, we need to take into account who the audience is. Because if you're not the intended audience, then we have to kind of take the expectation you might have and put it aside and think about what would the intended audience expect, right? So, and I might get into that. I have an article that I have used in the past with a lot of students, and students take it as, oh, the author is writing to me, and in reality the author wrote this prior to the invention of the cell phone, or not the invention, but the smartphone, the explosion of the cell phone, the smartphone. Um, and so the author asked questions that seem completely off kilter now because everybody on the planet just about has a smartphone and can get that information very quickly. So that's where I have to take a step back and say, remember, you were not the audience. You weren't born when this thing came out for some of you. Or you were very, very young when it came out, and this is all you've known, right? This Apple phone that I have. So those, I kind of just wanted to give you a kind of a basis for the first module. And I look forward to reading your posts, learning about you, answering your questions, and connecting with you. I hope you have a great week, and I will be writing you soon. Bye.